So none of you guys have any guesses or ideas of what synthesizing could be? No? Okay. Well, if we look on the board, I put a definition for us. It says synthesizing is change in thinking as you read new information. So what this means is, as you're reading new information in a book or in an article, or even when you're watching like a commercial and it tells you about this new game and it has descriptions of the game in the commercial, you're reading. And as you read the new information, you're always thinking about what's going on, what's happening next, what's this about. So that's synthesizing. So even though you guys haven't heard of it before, you've all done it before. So what we have up here is we have a synthesizing apple tree, and we have a final synthesis apple juice. Now, as you can see, our synthesizing apple tree doesn't have any apples on it yet. And the reason why it doesn't have any apples on it yet is because we haven't begun to read. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to read this book to you guys called One Green Apple. And every couple of pages, I'm going to stop, and you all are going to get little apples, and you're going to write what you think is going on. You're going to be synthesizing. And then we're going to add those to our apple tree. And once we're done, we're going to take all of those little apples, and we're going to use the ideas of those to create a final synthesis about the book. Because this apple juice has all of the apples in it. Just like our final synthesis has all of our previous thoughts in it. Okay? So to begin, I'm going to give you guys an example of what I mean. So as I said, this is One Green Apple, and it's by Eve Bunting. And if we look at the cover, we see there is some little kids, and there's apple trees, and people are picking apples, and there's a little girl who has a green apple. So based on this, I'm going to go ahead and make my first synthesis.
Based on what you heard me
So I'm going to take one of my little apples, and I'm going to say, maybe this book is about a girl who picked the only green apple. Because I'm just guessing. Green apple. So based on what I know, it's called One Green Apple, and based on the pictures, I'm saying that the book is probably about a little girl who picked the only green apple. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that on our tree.
That's a good one.
This is One Green Apple by Eve Bunting. This is my second day in a new school, in the new country. There are to be no lessons today because we are going somewhere. Other days will not be like this one. Tomorrow I will go again to the class where I will learn to speak English. Mother drives us to the start of an orchard where a hay wagon is waiting. We climb on and lean against the bundles of hay. The wagon is pulled by a tractor, and we jog along. I think it odd to have boys and girls sit together. It was not like this in my village. The students know each other, but they don't know me, and I don't know them. I can't understand them when they speak. I can't speak to them. Some are friendly, but some look at me coldly and smile cruel smiles. I hear my country mentioned, but not fondly. I would prefer to go home. My father has explained to me that we are not always liked here. Our home country and our new one have had difficulties, he says, but it will be good for us here in time. How much time, I wonder? I am different too in other ways. My jeans and t-shirt look like theirs, but my dupatta covers my head and shoulders. I have not seen anyone else wearing a dupatta, though all the girls and women in my home country do. As we see, I have a synthesis 2 mark. So, this means we are going to do one of our syntheses now. So I'm going to give you on each a apple.
Baked bread, as sweet as cake.
And I want you to think about what we've read so far and write down what you think this book could be about.
Nice lady, sweet lady.
Go ahead and write down what you think the book might be about based on something.
From her hand, Sophie loved it. Sophie baked more bread. The birds called their friends, and they came flocking. They sat on Sophie's hat and squeezed onto her shoulders. They picked and pecked and gobbled up every crumb. So the birds, they of the bread. It sounds delicious. Soon birds from all over knew the old woman who wore the bright orange hat and shawl with the floppy fringe. But there was no more. Nice lady, sweet lady, they filled the trees and lined the fence screeching. They sat on the porch and paced the roof squawking. The crowded poor Sophie snatched and grabbed and quarreled over every morsel.
Okay, as you guys write down yours, I'm going to read the ones that we have now.
No biting,
He
no
says it's
scratching,
about a girl
no
that
shoving.
needs friends.
The birds paid no attention. They filled
I
the air
said
with flapping.
maybe it's a girl who's a little homesick because she's
It was
different.
noisy and there was never enough rain. So, I got a problem.
This book is about a girl that moves. Yeah, because she moved from one country to another. That's good.
Yeah, they want the bread though. So, Sophie tried to keep the peace. She baked more and more, filling the air with a wonderful aroma. It floated over the countryside, all the way to the village. People sniffed the air and smiled. Who could be baking such sweet-smelling bread?
They're on a field trip and they're going to pick
So,
only
now it's
the only green apple to go along with the title. It's a good synthesis. It could be about a girl going to a new school. It's also another good thing.
well, not only the birds want it, exactly. Everybody in the town wants her bread. Okay, so back at the cottage, Sophie had no smile. What she had was flour on her shoes, flour on the floor.
She says she's very different from others.
She was wary of kneading and
That's something
baking,
you learn.
but the greedy birds
And
eat
are we
more.
almost done with your
Screech,
synthesis?
squawk, caw, hoot. What to do?
So these are all
what to do?
really good syntheses so far because we're thinking about all the things that we've learned. We came up with some really good ideas. Apple,
What do we already know, first of all?
from the book. A-P-P. Ellie. Rachel. They're gonna go pick an growing to pick up an apple. Yep. Because they talked about going on a field trip. Alrighty.
Exactly. So what do you guys think she
We
should
keep
do
reading.
based on what we know?
The girl who sits next to me smiles and points to herself. Anna, she says. She points to me.
Yeah?
Farah. I nod and say Farah, which is my name. Then I look across the field where the cows graze.
Let the birds out?
I am tight inside myself. 3 dogs come and run in front of us. I think they belong here and know the way. I once had a dog called Hattis. We stop at a place where apples bunch together. I found out we are to pick the fruit. Old apples have fallen in the grass. The 3 dogs are eating them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Their crunches sound like Hattis's.
So
Our
back
teacher
up
gathers
in
us
town?
around her. She
Well, let's
talks
see what
to the
she
class,
does.
then she looks at me in a kind way.
Please, birdie.
1, she says.
Birdies. No
She touches
pestering.
an apple, then picks it.
No
1,
shouting.
she
The
says
birds
again.
paid no attention.
I need to take only 1, as the other students
Ask
have
the
done.
birds if she
I
takes
nod.
it, but
I want to say,
they want that
I
birdie.
understand.
They
It's not
followed
that I am
Sophie
stupid.
everywhere.
It is just
They
that I am
followed
lost in this
She
new
went
place.
to her milk.
But I
She
don't
went
know
to
how
milk
to
her
tell
cow.
her.
They followed when she went to the
So
village
now,
for more flour.
this is another good
What
point
to
for us
do,
to
what
stop
to
and
do.
think about
So
what's
we worried
happening.
every step of the way.
So,
now, think to
I'm going to
yourself,
have 3 synthesizers this
oh,
time.
you're right.
So who wants to be one of the 3 synthesizers? Raise your hands.
They're following everywhere.
Synthesizers?
So,
I'm
think to
saying
yourself
I want
now,
3 synthesizers are going to be 3 people who are going to synthesize or tell us how their change in thought has happened based on these new pages. Does that make sense? Okay. So you want it to be 1? You want it to be 1? Okay. So I have my 3 synthesizers. So you can go ahead and write your
and
synthesis.
the birds, will they follow her?
And I'm going to write mine.
Why?
And then we'll see which we came up with.
Oh. That's a good idea. What do scarecrows do? Exactly. That's a great idea.